guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about crested geckos and everything you should know before you get a crested gecko. So let's do this. So as you guys know, I have 9 geckos. The first thing I want to talk about is enclosures. So you want a tall versus long enclosure because they are arboreal. They like to climb. So make sure they're tall. Another thing is when they're babies, they don't need a very big enclosure because it's harder for them to find food as babies. So that's why most of my geckos are in this size, because they're babies. When they're adults, they need an enclosure like this. Yeah, you just want to provide a lot of foliage, plants, coverage, sticks, hiding places, a water bowl, places for them to hide, because that makes them feel safe. Humidity, you want the humidity to be around 60 to 80%, and you can achieve that just by misting their enclosures regularly. I miss my enclosures 2 to 3 times a day, just depending on how much time I have. Safe substrate that you can use, I use Reptisoil, and they hold humidity, so that will help with the humidity also, is having that soil in the bottom. I wouldn't recommend putting substrate in an enclosure if you're quarantining them. When you first get them, I would put paper towels at the bottom instead, so that you can monitor their poop and how much they're eating and all of that, and see if it's normal. I use Reptisoil on the bottom of my enclosures and I've never had a problem. Just make sure that you're watching for mold. I had a problem with mold in Rocky's enclosure and I had to take everything out, wipe it down and put new everything in because it was all infested with mold. Okay, their diet. So I feed them Pangea, the papaya one. You can also do the Zoomed one, the Crested Gecko Zoomed food. Sometimes mix them, but for the most part I feed the Pangea one. You do not need a lot because they do not eat very much. I promise you, just put a little bit, it goes a long way. I have 3 bags and a mason jar full of food, and it's gonna last me forever. Forever. If you do it right, you'll have food for a really long time. And sometimes I supplement them with bugs like crickets, dubia roaches, waxworms, superworms, just give them some bugs, give them the extra nutrients. Some of my geckos don't like their bugs, some of them do. It just really depends on the gecko, so just, offer them. Okay, so now I want to talk about lighting. So crested geckos, they do not require any special lighting because they are nocturnal. But UVB, a low output UVB, is very beneficial for their health. So I do offer UVB to all my crested geckos, even though they hide during the day and they don't necessarily bask in the UVB. They're still, they have the option to go lay out in the UVB if they want. One more thing is, when handling them, I would just be very careful not to grab their tail. They will drop their tail in an attempt to get away. And unlike other geckos, they won't grow their tail back. So just be very careful when handling and not to pull on their tail or grab their tail. Crested geckos can jump, so just beware of that. The other day I had my gecko and he jumped out of my hand, landed on the hardwood floor, and went when he hit the floor. And I had to catch him because he just jumped out of my hand. Yeah, just be very careful when handling them. Okay, I think that is it for my crested gecko care guide. If you guys enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what you want me to do next. And I will see you guys in my next one. Love you guys.